And we're live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Real Hospitality Live. Today I have my guests Andrew Caras, Ronalee Dumond from Capital Cooler Rentals in the Lower Mainland, British Columbia, Vancouver area. Welcome, folks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody looking healthy and happy?
Trying our best.
With the current situation, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we have to keep our spirits up to not only persevere, but to keep our heads in the right place as well. I wanted to have you guys on today to talk about, of course, the hospitality community, how you support the hospitality community, how you're there always 24/7, 365 as emergency measures, but also as a pre-planning measure. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about and you've been talking about how you're working to work with not only restaurants who are having breakdowns and problems and how you can back them up, but also with seniors facilities and even event planning people for additional storage. So what's been going on in your world?
Well, because our primary function is serving the hospitality industry, we feel that we are part of that industry as well. And so, we feel for all these people, suffering, some turmoil, whether they're looking at shutdown,
losing staff.
Yeah, losing staff and everything. And, it's not a sympathy based, this is a genuine feel that we have because it's affecting us as well. So yes, we are slow. We had events booked in April, May, and June, and basically they were all canceled, and we had to refund people's money. And I mean, we have costs as well. So during this time, we are more than willing to help others that are in need. But we have been getting calls from senior facilities, senior living, retirement homes, anybody that has like a commercial kitchen. And their main worry is possible food shortages.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're wanting to order our units, to keep extra food, just in case, right? I mean, look at the toilet paper crisis, you might have like craft dinner crisis like somewhere else, but like here, you have a toilet paper crisis. But if you look at some of the shelves at the grocery stores, you have a lot of like sugar and flour that are completely empty, right? So, they're just trying to take some precautions, and that's about it. I mean, any commercial kitchen, that needs some extra food storage, I mean, they can call us 24/7. And but right now, I mean, the most active is the senior care facilities.
Right. Well, the seniors care facilities are the places that we're most afraid that people are going to get this virus and are going to get ill. Our supply chains are questionable because we're being told that everything's going to be okay, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
Because we're really just in this state, right? And the other thing too, I think is delivery companies. I mean, a smart thing for them to do is to start getting extra product and stock that now, because people at the dining room, even if they're being told, oh, you can only have half your capacity or you've got to pull your tables apart, that dining room is still going to be pretty empty. But if your delivery starts to go on the uptick, and I'm talking with clients of ours who are app-based companies who do delivery, and manage all of that, their business is way up.
Yeah, and you have to look at it also from another perspective. A restaurant can be forced to close by the government. But a senior care facility cannot close. They have to remain open, right? They don't have that luxury. Well, I can't say luxury. I have to be careful with my words, because it's a very sensitive area now. they're always there. These seniors are always there. They need to be fed, and they can't afford a food shortage, you know.
Or exposure.
Exactly. So, you know, speaking to some of the food suppliers, you know, yeah, they should be stocking up now, because we don't know what's going to happen. I do have a lot of confidence in our government. Um, I get the feeling that things are going to change very rapidly, just as quickly as they came. I believe that this is a lot of fear that's going on, and you can't really see the outcome. And I'm hoping that it's not going to last as long as they say, you know,
Right.
because, you know, once the bug, everybody's helping one another by staying home and all that, you know, so it's just a matter of time before the bug doesn't continue and basically dies down, dies out, and therefore less people infected. And because everybody's helping one another in that way, I think that we can get a hold of this very quickly. You know.
I mean, Ronalee, you guys are probably staying in touch with your regular clientele as well. Hey, we're here for you, and all of that.
Absolutely. So we have charities are a big thing to raise money for certain groups. And we had some firefighters here in Surrey that raise money each year for youth who are struggling for scholarships. And each year we help out these firefighters with refrigeration for their charity event. That was to take place, I believe, in a couple weeks. It was already broadcasted on Global News, you know, that these firefighters raise money. They do a wine tasting, and hospitality comes in and does a culinary arts tasting of food. And with the exposure, that event had shut down, and unfortunately, they won't be able to raise their funds at this time for September in the fall for when those youth will be graduating and moving on. So they're also being impacted, and that's hard for those people who are relying on that tuition to go to school in the fall, when, you know, they're already trying to make ends meet with the little money have from student loans, and
yeah, it's a ripple effect. You know,
Right.
It affects everybody.
Right. Well, one of my clients and my good friend Andrew Craig in Ottawa, he's doing a big thing today, actually, and yesterday, to where they're bringing restaurants together and food suppliers, and putting together boxes for seniors so that they don't have to have to get out to the grocery store to get additional things, and they've called upon local suppliers, and this is a great opportunity for any charity or any group that's getting together to do something like this, to call upon you guys for additional cooler space while you're putting together these types of initiatives and events. You guys are really are a security for our community, for our hospitality community and restaurants. I always fall back on restaurants, and I always forget to say hotels and resorts and also seniors residents, which we often forget really are a part of our hospitality industry. They're not always front and center, but they're certainly a major player as far as consumption and sales and all of that goes. So to have you guys as part of our community and as a service option is key.
Yeah.
Sorry, with regards to what you were just saying, directly from head office in Ottawa, across Canada, they have put more procedures in place for cleaning of surfaces. So when our units do go to seniors' homes or other restaurant areas where there's commercial kitchens, we are actually adding more bleach to the water and leaving things on surfaces, so that limits the exposure from one place to another. So in regards to that, we were wanting to ensure that the seniors have that extra safety, so that when food is coming and going out of our units, that it is disinfected to the absolute certain degree that we can, to limit any surfaces on our inside of our units.
Yeah, see, what we implemented is in the past, we have a cleaning solution. We spray a mist on all the surfaces, walls, ceilings, and everything, and then we scrub it with a hard bristle brush, and then we rinse it, and then we do a secondary clean as well. So now we've added a third one where we actually have the bleach. So we're actually using a diluted bleach solution to kill off any bacteria or anything, and then we're doing our regular cleaning on top of that. You know, it's just an added precaution, right?
And it alleviates that scarcity mindset of that exposure.
Right. I mean, you guys have food grade units, and kind of jumping into wanting to have the conversation about the whole community. We've kind of skipped over exactly what it is you do. So here's your opportunity to shine, Ronalee.
Well,
no, you go ahead.
Well, I kind of lead the back lines where I'm doing the paperwork and trying to do with the marketing. And what we do is we rent out mobile restaurant grade walk-in cooler freezers to anybody who has a commercial kitchen or an event or a festival that has their commercial kitchen outside. We provide that service where we set it up. We ensure that it is proper temperature for food safety, and we train the staff. It is a standard 110 volt plug-in. And the units are whisper-free, quiet. They are free from any exhaust, so we limit that global footprint. And
they're energy efficient.
They are true restaurant grade walk-in, just as any commercial kitchen has. They fit within a standard parking lot. They don't take up much space. So our clients use it during their time. And when they're done, we take it back and we disinfect it and store it in our warehouse inside, where it's open and to be able to breathe, so that they do not collect any molds while they're drying.
Yeah.
And these are trailer-based units as well. I mean, so I can't quite recall what the sizes you guys have, but you have several of them. What are the different sizes, Andrew?
Well, okay. So earlier in 2019, they introduced a new size, which is a 6x6, and it's a little pudgy little unit, you know, but it's just for those people who just want to store a small amount, you know, maybe even like ice or something, or food. And but we have 6x6, 6x8, 6x10, and 6x12. Right. Now here in Vancouver, we only have the 6x8 and 6x10 because when we first started, there wasn't much of a demand for a 6x12. And so we were told just to hold off for a little bit, just to wait for more demand on a 6x12. So when we first started in 2018, January, throughout 2018, we received probably, I would estimate, about only 5 or 6 calls for a 6x12. And those people, once they were told that we only had a 6x10, they went with a 6x10 anyways, and it was more than enough space. It was they were just worried and overkill, right? And so then we waited for 2019, and about the same thing. We had about 6 or 7 requests for a 6x12, and they took a 6x10. And there was only one time where it was crammed almost right to the door, but it was a hospice in an emergency. Yeah. So we helped the hospice, and they were very grateful, even though it was crammed, but at least we got it done. Yeah. So we're probably looking at maybe the end of 2020, because we're becoming more popular because of our hospitality level of service, our 24/7, and our quality of our units. You know, we're anticipating growth, and we may bring in one 6x12 just in case, just to have it in our fleet. We might even add a 6x6 for those smaller venues.
So for everybody who's watching this on LinkedIn and Periscope and YouTube, Facebook, everywhere around the world right now, these folks are based in Vancouver. They are franchisees for this organization. It is a national organization, but we exclusively work with Capital Cooler Rentals in Vancouver as clients. They're good friends of ours. We love them lots, and we really want them to, we want people to know, we really want people to know that this is available. You're not in a pinch. You're not stuck. If you're working with a restaurant or a food service organization, or if you're working with a charity, whether that's a shelter or a women's home or an elderly residence, anything like that, where you need to make sure that you have food backed up in our current state and climate, then you need to speak to these people. It's a 24-hour, 365-day-a-year service. If you're a chef or if you're in charge of a kitchen, and again, like through the holidays, something's going to break down, something's going to go weird. It always does, no matter what. It's Murphy's Law.
Speaking of that and the current situation, even though a restaurant may have closed their internal, it's the external, the takeout service and the drive-through windows that are still open. Therefore, they still have coolers running and freezers running, you know? So during a breakdown, you have basically a 2-hour window to either get it fixed and to save your food, or you call us. And so far, we have always been within the 2-hour window, even to North Vancouver from our base in Richmond, our warehouse in Richmond. We got a call. We were, I think it was about 9:30 when we received the call. And after the paperwork was done, going to our warehouse, picking up the unit, getting it prepared, taking it all the way to North Van, we arrived there at 11 and had everything all set up and everything. And they were unloading the ship that had the breakdown because it was in dry dock right next to our unit. And then we formed a chain and we basically tossed all the stuff in there, lettuce and all that sort of thing, in a matter of 15 minutes with this chain going on, you know. And where we go above and beyond is always extra service. You know, we always add value. Normally what we do is we don't just hand the plug over and say, here, plug it in, you're good to go, see you later. You know, we stay there until it cycles a couple times, you know, just to ensure that it's working properly. Then you don't have to call us back. Now, our units are brand new. They're very reliable. And we've had it at the prison for 3 months. The prison in Chilliwack, they had 2 units, 1 freezer, 1 cooler, because they have a commercial kitchen too. Sure. And they had to completely renovate the entire kitchen. So they had our units there for 2 months. And so while we set everything up, then we set the temperature and everything, we wait there until it reaches temperature. So while we're waiting there, we're not just twiddling our thumbs, we're not playing Candy Crush or anything like that, or, you know, I'm actually helping to load, you know, and usually, you know, it's them who are inside. I'm outside keeping warm, but you know, they're inside, you know, with gloves on or something, you know. But yeah, that's the added value that we bring, you know. And with these restaurants that still have the takeout service and everything, like I said, they still have their coolers running and everything. But what we want to say is how we're actually wanting to help. Now, as I mentioned, we have costs as well. So for the time being, we're not looking at profits. Okay, we're looking to survive like everybody else. Yeah. So all what we care about is covering our costs, and that's it. So what we're going to be offering, and people can call us if they're in turmoil, is those clients that are suffering through this, and then on top of that, they may have a breakdown. And of all things, now they have a breakdown happening, you know, which is going to cost them more. Either they're going to lose their inventory, and it could be anywhere from 2,000, 10,000, or 20,000 worth of inventory. What we're doing is we're having a 2-structured discount that we're giving. We're going to be giving a discounted rate to restaurant chains. Any chains. Chains are groups of companies, like whether it's hotel, restaurants, and everything, and then it's going to be a 2-tiered system. So with the chains and those type of chains, you know, they may have some surplus, you know, to survive through this, right? but it's the smaller, individually owned, family-run restaurants that have one location that we're going to probably help the most,
Right.
to just help them through. So now that they would have like a cost of repairs and a food loss, we can at least help by saving their food loss, and they're going to have a much higher discount from us, just to help out. And you know, it could be up in the 20-30% range, whatever it is. I just, if they're in turmoil, they can call us, and then we will listen to them, listen to their story, and basically it'll be on an
individual basis.
individual event basis kind of thing.
But we want to make it open so that
Yeah.
anybody can reach out.
Yeah.
Because we all know that everyone's experiencing this financial crunch.
Yeah.
And, we don't want people to lose their businesses, because after this is all done, hopefully we all.
And we don't want to lose our business either, because
Sure.
if we go,
we're not there to support.
We're going to revert back to throwing out food as the norm, and that shouldn't be the norm.
I think what you're going to see also is, if you're in a major center and you think it was hard to get a repair person to come and help you on a good day, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
People are being told not to go in public if you don't have to. People are down to bare bones service. Maybe they're shut down completely because their people are self quarantine, et cetera, et cetera. So we're in that time where if you call, they might not be coming at all. Usually it's, hey, we can't get to you till next Wednesday because they're so busy. But now it's not because they're busy, it's because they just don't have anybody. So again, you guys are our guardian angels to help to look after our industry in that way. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really wanted to bring you guys on and have an opportunity to talk to you about what you do, reintroduce you to our network, because we are a global community. People need to know. There's a question? Okay. Okay.
Can you read it? Are you able to see it?
I am blind.
Okay. No. So it's from Edward Wissett on LinkedIn, and he wants to know about your take on food distribution for distributors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning what?
I believe the availability for them.
Okay.
For like people like that are not just restaurants, but for
Sure.
people that are distributing food.
For food distributors.
So yeah, so Edward's asking on LinkedIn, what's your take on food distribution, and what are you hearing? I mean, this is my take on the question, but what are you hearing, and what's your feeling on whether or not we are going to be able to continue to get product as we need it into restaurants and also into grocery stores, even smaller grocery stores, because of supply chain? We don't really have an answer to that, but what are you guys hearing, if anything?
Well, actually, we're not hearing much like directly from the food suppliers, and the reason why is because we're dealing directly with the restaurateurs.
Are they saying anything?
Well, you were in touch with BCRFA yesterday, the
Right.
president there, and trying to loosen up some restrictions. And
Right.
so Ian from BCRFA is really diligently working hard for all BC restaurants. And Andrew was briefly in touch with him yesterday. So we are in touch with them
But that would be the best person. Yeah, that would be the best person to ask, is somebody that's more involved with like the back end of restaurants. When we arrive, it's basically a hi, how are you? Let's save your food, and we get right into it, right? So we don't hear any gossip or anything like that. We're just there as professionals to help save your food.
Sure.
So we're pretty much like in there, loading up and everything, and then afterwards, we may chit chat a little bit, like with the manager or even some staff, chefs, and all that. But we're not hearing much from the actual suppliers itself.
No.
Well, from our end, from my observations and network, and from what I'm seeing, the trucks are still rolling.
Yes, they are.
We're of course, we have clients who are in the distribution and they are trying to make sure that everybody's looked after too. I know that the different levels of governments are saying the same thing, that we're not going to be in a shortage position and whatnot. I think that probably the thing that will hit us is whether or not we have people to deliver it. And whether or not they're still on the job or whether or not they're quarantining themselves. But I think in the positive thing, I think that these organizations, like our friends at Cisco, they're specifically, working to get their word out. Hi guys at Cisco. And to make sure that they're helping to supply everybody, and especially grocery and seniors residents too, because they keep posting things as well. Hey, we're still here. Hey, we're working diligently. All of those things as well. So hopefully that answers your question, my friend.
Sorry, we couldn't help with that question.
Oh, that's fine.
I think the question was more directly to are they able to help food distributors?
Oh, right.
And the other question that came up too was about short-term rental options.
Right.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So it's a question about short-term rental options, and also are you? Robbie was clarifying that are you able to help with distribution as well? So if a supplier needs an additional vehicle for taking from point A to point B, can they put their product in your cooling unit and deliver? So there's two questions there, I guess: the short-term rental, and then also, can you help with being a part of the supply chain?
Okay, so let's first tackle the short-term rental. So we basically rent anywhere from like 4 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and up. 3 months, right? We'd actually prefer the shorter rentals over the long-term rentals, because then it takes up our inventory of units.
Sure.
So imagine if we have like let's just say 5 long-term rentals, and then we have like 3 other breakdowns. Well, we're out. So
right.
Then what we do is we contact our Fraser Valley location and say, hey, do you have any units available? Okay, send one to Mr. Smith over at this place or whatever. So yes, short-term rentals are our specialty. Our average rental is 3 to 5 days. Okay, we do 1 day rentals as well.
That's when we have breakdown.
And that's basically the time usually that it takes to do a repair, providing that they can't repair it. Usually the HVAC technicians are really good.
Yeah.
And they have parts available, like in their vans or trucks, so they can get you up and running right away. It could be a simple thermostat. It could be something else. But when it comes down to, like, say, let's just say that you have a unit from the 70s, hasn't been updated or anything, their compressor goes down, and now they go and try to find a compressor, and now they have to order it from who knows where.
Right.
Now they're looking at like 3 days by FedEx or something like this, and then another couple days to install it. So yeah, they
on a good week.
Pardon?
That's on a good week.
Yeah. So so then that's the average, is about 3 to 5 days, and we have aligned ourselves. We have a list of HVAC companies who have used us regularly, and we also have HVAC refrigeration repair companies that refer us all the time, and they actually tell us, that this person referred us over to you. And so one thing that we like to reciprocate, and so whenever we do get a customer calling us, we will ask them and say, do you have somebody in mind that you normally use, to fix your unit? And usually they do, but when they don't, they always ask, can you recommend somebody? Sure. And we're like, sure. So, we have a short list of like 3 or 4 people that we give the numbers to, so they can have, like, quote from each one to make it fair, right? Yeah. And who we align with is we diligently look at, the reviews and everything, and we may not align ourselves with somebody with 1-star reviews, but all the ones that we have really good reviews, and that's who we want to align ourselves with, because if we're going to be basically our reputation's at stake, and it's going to look bad on us if we recommend somebody and they don't do a good job, right? So yeah.
And the other question, I guess, was so if
transport.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So because our units are restaurant grade, they're not cargo trailers, so there's no tie downs in there. The skins of our units are continuous skins all the way down. So there's not paneling, so you don't have the cracks in between, you know, where microscopic like particles of heat or cool will escape, right? So they're completely solid all the way down with 4-inch thick, right? Insulation. And because of that reason, everything shifts around. These are trailer units that have stiff suspension. Right. And so when you go over a bump, you really feel it like 10 times in a normal vehicle, right? Right. So if we wouldn't even transport a wedding cake, forget it. All the tiers would be down. And also like our units are designed to allow open food, you know, open and covered food. Okay. And that's not allowed in certain types of vehicles as well, because it's more of a vehicle, it's more of a cargo type. But because ours are restaurant grade, we are allowed open food. Now, if you have open food, like on our shelves and all that sort of thing, when you open it up, you're going to have jambalaya. And I love jambalaya, but, you know, it's going to be all over the place, all mixed in together.
Right. So not an option.
Having said that, pardon?
No, go ahead.
Oh, having said that, all we do is we basically bring the unit empty to your location, and then we set it up, and then it's up to you to have either a supplier or yourselves bring the food into our unit, because we have to set it up so it's safe. Okay. So we chalk the tires, we put it on stilts, you know, on stands, so it doesn't tip. Right. Because there was an incident actually where we weren't set up yet, and we were far away because we had a unit here, unit there, and then after when we saw them loading, you know, I was trying to yell, but they couldn't hear me. So then I hopped in my vehicle. I had to go
in slow motion.
Yeah, I had to go for like 5 kilometers an hour. I had to go 5 kilometers an hour because, you know, of safety, right? And here I am going, go, go, go. And then right when I got there, the whole unit tipped.
With him inside.
Yeah.
And bottles, mind you that.
Yeah, because they were loading the back first. And so from that point forward, it was a good awakening for us. We decided for multiple units that are spread out, we are locking the doors so that nobody gets hurt. And then we unlock the doors after all is set up. So back again, you know, like I'm getting distracted here with some stories. So after when we actually like put it in place and everything, and then you bring your food. Now we are covered with insurance based on our own transport of an empty unit to the location and on location. However, it's a different insurance for food transporting. And that's what we don't have, and nor will we want to have that, because there's too many variables, right?
And insurance is key right now too.
Yes.
For example, if you have a business loss insurance due to what's going on right now in our current climate, your insurance company may not cover you because it's supposed to be a business loss insurance is meant to be for a physical thing. But if your cooler breaks down, then that's still covered usually in many policies. So the fees for Andrew and Ronalee to help you out might be covered in that moment in your time of need already in your policy. So if you're a restaurateur or operator or manager watching this, make sure that you check within your policy, because this service oftentimes is covered, not 100%, but oftentimes can be covered because of the physical breakdown of your unit. So if that happens, then you can look at that, and this is the type of service that can be covered. So,
yes, thank you for bringing that up, because we have covered a unit on the Vancouver Island, and their insurance provider did pay for our
on Vancouver Island, Sunshine Coast.
Sunshine Coast, pardon me. They paid, and I believe we had it there for about 3 or 3 months, and we had 2 units over there.
That was because of a kitchen fire.
Right.
So,
and they remained open for the entire 3 months.
That's right.
The insurance companies are now seeing the value of paying for a rental over paying for the food loss and paying for the closure, the revenue loss.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so now they're more than happy to pay for a rental, and they paid for the entire 3 months, 2 units.
Well, that makes
We
perfect
are
sense.
slowly getting insurance companies on board with us. Andrew has been in talks with them off and on for the last few months or a year with the presidents and underwriters to say that this is crucial that in their restaurant policies or insurance that they cover that.
Mhm.
That they say that they cover it.
Yeah. Well, again, check with your provider, but
Yes.
but there's a possibility that it is covered in there. Again, thank you so much, guys, for coming on today, because we never know what's going to happen in a time like this. Everything is uncertain. We're trying to be positive. We're trying to be prepared. We wanted people to know that you guys are out there, and that you're there to help. Whether or not you're planning to work with a charity to help others, whether or not you're in a position where your unit breaks down, or you're doing backup, all of these things. This is a service that's available to you. It's available across the country. Our friends in Vancouver are with us today, and thank you so much for joining us and for always being there.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And we're huge fans of Real Hospitality Network, and we watch all the live streaming. And you guys are fantastic.
Good to see you there, and thank you so much.
You both.
Thank you. Thanks a million.
Cheers.
Cheers. Kombucha.
Have a great day and enjoy that kombucha.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi to Tim and JJ. I'm sure they're watching.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Take care.